just yet. It's going to be, an interesting trading day. The profile yesterday was a normal variation extreme day. Why is it extreme? Well, the majority of the volume was right up near the high of the session. So a lot of contracts changed hands here. The point of control yesterday was all the way up at 58.77.5. That's the TPO point of control. And the market couldn't maintain price up there where all that volume was. It rejected it. So we ended up pushing to the downside, and now we've got overnight inventory to the short side and against relatively important inflection levels as support levels below. It'll be an interesting trading day, as they always are. There's always something new, something changing, and as we always say, ACH, anything can happen. I might actually turn into a ghoul. All right. NASDAQ, daily chart. We took a pretty good look above last week's high for a couple of days here. We tried to show some signs of acceptance up there. Last week's high, 20,707 quarter. Failure to hold above that level yesterday brought in some volume increased on the way down, which it usually does. And we added 22,000 new contracts. Now, that's an estimate. It might be off a little bit, but that's telling us that we brought in some new business on the short side yesterday. So we really ran into some short selling. Those short sellers are trying to continue to push this market lower. So the question, whenever we see a big open interest move that isn't some sort of a breakout or continuation, is it shorter time frame? I've been saying for 3 weeks that these markets are more short time frame controlled than anything else, but a big jump like that in open interest, probably a combination of longer time frame traders as well as institutional and some speculative shorts as well. If we get too short, that's when the market's going to turn and head the other direction. So let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Range yesterday, the market opened, it looked lower, tried to recover. By the end of the day, we closed relatively close to the end of the day with no late spikes in either the S&P or the NASDAQ. Overnight inventory short. We're kind of in a space area here. We do have one naked point of control from back here on the 24th. That naked point of control is 20,344. It has been checked in the overnight. I look for that to be checked in the regular trading hour session. So with overnight inventory short, we've got weekly kickoff low down below that at 20,175 and an afternoon pullback low that has yet to be really kind of retested just once here down at 20,164.75. So this might be an interesting area for an execution, and again, opening with a gap with overnight inventory to the short side. The market has already reconciled some of that overnight inventory. I'd say we're getting relatively close to being flat in the overnight session here. So again, if we can't close the session gap to yesterday's low in the regular trading hour session, which I see here at 20,514.75, it might be the market accepting lower pricing and look for opportunities using that nuance. The NASDAQ held up a lot better yesterday, I think, than the S&Ps. The profile yesterday, a normal variation, a little bit more neutral day than extreme day, but still a normal variation day with big jump in open interest to the short side. So we piled in a whole bunch of shorts yesterday. They don't get what they're looking for. They have to turn buyers. So it's a real question as to what kind of time frame was involved in all of that big increase in open interest. I'm suggesting it's going to be multiple different time frames. All right, crude oil. Daily. Yesterday, we talked in the morning on the opening call, and I said, this market, it had a pretty good breakout, just an attempt at a continuation. Volume fell off. Open interest wasn't really all that impressive yesterday. The day before yesterday. So we started yesterday talking about crude, saying, this market is acting cheap. It's acting like it's a little bit too cheap. Wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of recovery in this. And boy, did we see some recovery in it yesterday. Closing basically right at the weekly kickoff low here, but then continuing after the close to finish the extended trading hour session above that level. We looked below the weekly kickoff low this morning before the open. The market seems to be rejecting this area, at least for now. Anything can happen. we have this trend line, which was support, 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 support. Will it act as resistance today? Some say that that support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. Well, we're going to have to see about that today. We added 4,500 contracts in open interest yesterday. Volume maintained on a pullback off that low and to really kind of close right at or above that weekly kickoff important inflection level. So we're looking for acceptance above weekly kickoff low or rejection above weekly kickoff low. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. All right. So yesterday, market opened with a gap, closed the gap, did not accept inside value, and we saw the market really push to the upside. But then it kind of fell off throughout the session, closing what I'm saying is at weekly kickoff level. Sometimes those weekly kickoff levels become a little bit magnetic until longer time frame traders decide what or if they're going to do anything in that area. Overnight inventory got a little bit too short. Obviously, we've now opened above the range from yesterday, creating a gap. If we can't close this gap relatively early, I would be looking for this market to try and continue this push to the upside. What is this? This is what that is. I'm just going to take that off. I put it on there for something, but I can't remember what. So again, opening above the range in value, we can't close the gap. Obviously, we're going to be looking for opportunities for continuation to the upside. We do pull back into range and back into value. The value area play could bring us back down to value area low. Let's just call that down around $68. In a pretty good rejection on this 30-minute chart already here off the open. But again, if we can't close that gap, there's really only one thing for this market to do, and that's to range or to continue to try and push higher. We've rejected price for the time being below that weekly kickoff low, 68, 65. The profile yesterday, normal variation, neutral day, traded both sides of the initial balance, and then closed relatively centered. So a normal variation, neutral day uses a lot of its ability to facilitate trade. And if it's used up that ability to facilitate trade, price will go seeking new levels to facilitate trade. Now, one of my favorite markets these days is gold. Here's the daily. All right. Yeah, here we go. All right. We're starting to see some decent pullback here. Daily. The upside auction remains. We had a little bit of a slowdown in price action to the upside yesterday. We still added 5,500 in open interest, indicating that the upside auction, I kind of gave it a B as far as a grade is concerned. We saw volume maintain. What happened to my volume? But volume was pretty much maintained on this push to the upside with the additional open interest of 5,500 estimated. We still see buyers coming into this market. My thought was, we're probably getting a little bit too long for our britches. We need some sort of consolidation or pullback to even up inventories for whatever the next leg is going to be. I could see this market pulling all the way back to weekly kickoff high, 2760, before really finding anyone really interested in buying this pullback. So be careful today. Don't fight a directional market. We're seeing it pushing down relatively good here. We need to continue to see new buying coming into this market to continue this upside move. We're looking at an area of balance here. We're looking at an area of balance here. There's space. We're looking at an area of balance here. There's space. We're looking at an area of balance. There's space there. If we can't start to show some consolidation or continuation to the upside, I would say this market is slowing and maybe ready to pull back for a bigger kind of correction, if you want to call it a correction. I wouldn't really call it a correction, but it seems to be running out of buyers. Sellers seem a little bit more aggressive. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart and we'll get moving on here. All right. So yesterday we had put in a new all-time high in the overnight session. In the session right after the close, we took that out by one tick. That is not a strong high. We're seeing there's a lot of weaker structure down below this market. I don't have time to really talk about that now, but maybe we can talk about that later. We saw overnight inventory to the short side. When the market opened, we saw new selling, continued selling coming in. our overnight inventory sellers are happy right now because they're continuing to get paid. There are, again, several different levels for us to look for potential opportunities or continuation if we break through them. Last week's high, 27.7260. We got weekly kickoff high here, 27.60 even. That's where we kind of broke and took off from the day before yesterday. Tried to continue yesterday. And looks like we may be a little bit too long for our britches. So I'm looking for some of these horizontal visual levels to attract price. And then we'll take a look at what the market does at those levels. So take a deep breath, stay humble, grateful, creative, and centered in your trading today. And always pray for peace. And we're going to have a good trading day. Let's have some fun.
Buckle up, folks. We got a big day of trading ahead. I'm looking in the green room right now, and there's some great costumes heading your way. I'm going to do my best Andre impression right now. I'm not sure if he's Jake or Elwood Blues, but it's coming up. We got the real deal, Zach. We got Coach Jay. We got Andre. We got Hogue. Who else is coming in? We got a drop in with Coach Ray coming. Fast Markets, Topstep TV. Fast Markets coming up nuts. Let's go. All right.
Oh, happy Halloween. Welcome everybody to Topstep TV. We got Rotten Mandy. What is that? Macho Man Randy Savage and Frank the Bear in the house. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get this. Happy Halloween, everybody. We are now open. This is Fast Markets on Topstep TV. Let's go, Hogue. What are we seeing in this opening range? I'm seeing some sellers here. Yes. Let's go.
All right. We are going to look at the NASDAQ here, including the overnight session. So we actually did have a late spike in the NASDAQ the downside yesterday. I think I forgot to mention that in the opening call, but this late spike where market pushes, extends the range at the end of the day and closes down there, we're seeing rejection of higher pricing. We're seeing acceptance of lower pricing. It doesn't mean we can just jump in and sell it here. We've got a pretty big gap between the session low from yesterday, which is around 20,514. Well, the session gap right now is all the way down to 20,369. Overnight session was pretty much pushing to the downside. We've got a lot of overnight shorts in this market.
Order canceled.
you've got to take a look really at these charts here. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ right here, 30-minute chart. All right, so we've got the gap that we just created. There's another gap that we've kind of run through in the overnight. So there's a lot of gapping going on up here. If we do see the market to kind of recovering to the upside, we could see the market fill the gap. But we're seeing the market continuing to push to the downside. Opening range is the high of the session right now. Opening range in the S&P is also the high of the session. There are pretty large opening ranges. There's a lot of risk in this opening range trade. But I'm looking for the NASDAQ to continue to maybe get down to the weekly kickoff low here at 20,175, 20,175. Visually, this level, there's a lot of space. Low here on the 24th around 20,264. We've got our overnight low that we're testing right now. There's going to be a lot of opportunity today. I don't think we have to really jump into anything too much here right away. But I'm not the trader here. You guys are the traders. Let's see what our guys have to say here.
What's up, Jay? I mean, Frank the Bear. What's going on, Frank? How are you doing?
Where do we sell it?
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm a bear.
I guess, yeah. Wow, Dakota, you've met your match, Dakota. Where do we sell it?
The NASDAQ does look pretty heavy. Obviously, we can see that through the opening range. Pretty large opening range. If you look at 1 minute, 3 minute, I'm waiting for this to kind of settle here. We did just check below the overnight lows. Running out of room to the downside before an area that we might bounce, 20,250. So I'm looking for a potential area to get into this short on a bounce, maybe a bounce in 300 holding as a resistance gives me an opportunity to get in short.
All right, we are selling off Macho Man. Good morning.
What's going on there, Andre? Good morning. I'm here to bring the pain to YM. They don't stand a chance against Randy Trader Man Savage here on the best platform for tradertainment, Topstep TV. You're here live with the best, the cream of the crop. I can't do that for all of my analysis.
That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome.
I'm gonna do that and annoy the hell out of everybody. But we are looking at some sellers in Dow as well. There's a book map level that I'm watching. Looks like we got some more around the 50s, but all the way down to 42,000. We got a pretty solid level down here. I like to trade pretty close to the open. If we did not have all this liquidity on the book below price right now, I'd be looking long for a quick trade back up to VWAP, even with this selling off that we have coming in from pre-market. But right now, I'm just going to stay patient, see if we come down lower, tag these levels, maybe fill. If not much comes up on book map down there, I may look for a cheap long. It'll be somewhat risky going long in this market, but I like the long play back to VWAP near the open on Dow. But again, today I'm going to stay a little bit more patient. It's a spooky market.
Ooh, well done there, Macho Man.
What level would you look for in longs in the Dow?
Yeah, right down here, right at 42,000. I don't know that I would be marketing in right there. I am on micros, so I might take something kind of light. If we get down there, maybe crack below, find some quick support, maybe wick down below, and then really reject really harshly. I might look to hop in on something kind of light here. But
All right, so
I
Dow,
think we might be going to
42,000.
pull a test of VWAP before we do that.
As we are beneath 5,800s. We've been looking at those 5,800 level. Last couple of weeks, we were talking about this yesterday, Hogue. Now we're looking at the NASDAQ. I know you got a level down at 20,175 in the NASDAQ last trade. 300. Again, we do have a number in 10 minutes. Chicago PMI. Yeah, in about 10 minutes. We got Chicago PMI in about 10 minutes. After that, we're pretty much in the clear. We do have some major earnings after the bell. We got Amazon, Intel, and Apple, but that's not for a long time. The closing bell. We got a lot of trading going on. We got Frank the Bear in the house. We got Macho Man Randy Savage. We got a ghoul. What are you, Hogue? You're spooky today, Hogue. What is that? What are you doing today? That's very spooky.
I know you'd probably prefer to have the mask on, right?
Ah, no, come on, Hogue. All right, well, this is what we got going. So, Hogue, every time we dip beneath the 5,800s, it was a buy, but I know Jay is looking bearish today, hence the costume. We just kind of let this thing settle out. Do we wait till after the Chicago PMI in 15 minutes? What are we thinking, Hogue?
Well, the Chicago PMI is probably a relatively minor level, but you never know. Being patient, we've got about 9 minutes till it comes out. So let's see what happens after that. I usually like to caution for being a little bit patient, especially in these situations. I think we're going to find good trade locations throughout the day. I don't see anything wrong with being patient, waiting for that Chicago PMI. Not really a big number, but you never know what can knock these things around.
We got David S. in the chat said, let the dust settle, boys. I think that's a good idea. All right, Jay, I know you're looking to sell it. I guess selling right off the open would have been real nice. Okay.
We got the rejection off of overnight VWAP, and that's kind of where we sold off initially. Since then, we got a pretty big opening range, and VWAP is in the middle of that range. So right now, I'm looking to take a short, ideally somewhere near 50% of that opening range right now. We are rejecting at 300. I want to do. Just looking for trade location now.
All right, so Jay, halfway back in the current range is 310. Is that kind of the area you're looking for a potential short?
I'm looking at 320, Hogue. I'm looking at the 3-minute opening range. Looking at 320.
Okay.
2-0.
All right, gotcha.
Zach B did see the bounce in the YM. Bounced off 0.061 last trade, 42,136. I got a view up at 42,180. What do you think, Zach?
I'm looking to see if we do come up, tap this VWAP, maybe get a little crack up to this 42,200 level. Could be a decent entry for a short. That would be that long play back to VWAP playing out. And then if that does happen, I'm really not looking long all the way back above that, trying to fight this higher time frame and lower time frame trend that we got forming. I'd be looking short, back down towards the lows of the session. That number coming out is a little bit spooky, a little bit scary, but we'll have to see what happens in the next 10 minutes here.
Is he pinned to the top of the chat? Not just yet. We'll have that pinned up shortly. Surely we have the pin at the top of the chat. Topstep daily levels. Make sure you have those open. I certainly have mine open, as do these guys. A lot of these guys even have it on their charts. You get from Coach Jay. You get some levels from Hogue as well. For instance, last trade in the NASDAQ, 20,270. 20,270.
Somebody in the chat told me that I look like a stop. What a stop would look like.
Is that what they look like?
I'm a stop personified.
That's what I would imagine my stop losses look like.
All right, NASDAQ pushing lower here, 20,260. Lows of the day, 20,252. Did Microsoft earnings get this selling party started, Hogue? Is that what this is all about?
There were some softer guidances here. I can take a good look at this here. Hang on a second. Microsoft had some softer guidance. They were looking at one of its cloud computing units. There was some softening in the current quarter. So, a little question as to their cloud computing unit. It's really the only guidance that I really saw.
Order submitted.
Taking a look really through the Mag 7, kind of bouncing. It still has that gap, but hang on a second. Let me get to my other chart here.
Order canceled.
So Microsoft, gap to the downside and pushing lower. That's really the softest one. I mean, that's the weakest one that I see right now is Microsoft. With that
below since
that lower guidance.
Looks like S&Ps are going to try to figure out what to do with the 5,800 level. Took a dip beneath down to 57.93 in the orders. Back above about 58.04. Let's take a look at the tilts. Hey, 82%, Zach, for you, 82% long in the YM right now.
Yep. Simple play. I really do like to leverage this one. Again, NASDAQ ES, I kind of stay out for that first 15 minutes. For Dow, if we are below VWAP and I don't have a really clear level below like I did today that I'd be worried about on Bookmap, I'm looking long to VWAP. Real simple. Give me a cheap, long, clear way to structure risk. If we crack below, I think we're going lower. And I see that play out often. Same, from above, short back down to VWAP. Again, not something I would hold really for the whole day, not taking into account what I think is going to play out over the next couple hours, but just a real quick trade off the open. I think we might see it play out, but as this is forming, if I can make it past this next few minutes before this number, about 3 minutes, I'd be looking short again up here right around the 200s in Dow. Maybe just a quick crack around these highs that we put in pre-market, 810. That was that 830 number right here, the high from there. Wouldn't mind a short from that level. Just following structure, price action. See if we can't hang on to that to come back down towards those levels on Bookmap and fill. But I see liquidity coming off the book. They are getting ready for this number to come out.
All right, we got the number.
A couple of minutes away here.
Zach needs a Slim Jim. They're having fun in the chat. If you like what you see, click like, click subscribe. Let's get over 127,000 subscribers today. Hey, take a look at gold. Gold made new all-time highs yesterday in the overnight. Yeah, I see a nice little sell-off ever since. Guys, heard Hogan opening call saying, is this a bit of a pullback for looking at the longer time frame? Last trade 27.73 on its lows of the day right now.
Yeah, it's not really a market state change, just a pullback inside of a balance area. Yeah, Jay, that anchored VWAP on the open on that 3-minute chart is really holding resistance.
It is. It's not leaving the range yet, but it is a resistance right now. The reason I want to be patient with the entry is because it hasn't left the range, so it's really not urgent selling. It's holding us down right now. I would love a pop above it, see buyers kind of fail, and then get a better price than whoever is a seller in that average price.
All right, I like that plan. You let us know when you're ready to execute.
Yeah,
Will do.
90 seconds.
Like, hey, that's an anchored VWAP off the 930 open.
Yep, that's right. Exactly.
Yes.
Nice.
Pull up in the chat.
Are you usually trading the
traded
Dow?
or waiting for? Or have you traded yet today, or waiting for the news? Go ahead, Coach Jay.
No, I was just asking, Zach. Do you normally trade the Dow?
Yeah, I've been getting more and more comfortable on Dow. I've got experience from past life and CFDs with Dow, so I do like it, especially around the open. As the day wears on, I don't mind trying to jump over to NQ. Dow has this really quick back and forth movement, kind of choppy price action that I can leverage right around the open. Again, this is, we didn't quite hit VWAP in on the just mini, because I do like to take a look at that. Dow has usually a couple point difference. Like I'm seeing VWAP at 78, we're at 71 on the micro. So I won't say that completely played just yet, but again, simple, like buy below, back to VWAP near the open. Again, if there's not a clear level, I think we might come down and test before we get back up there. Really simple play that I like to try to look for. But yeah,
20 seconds.
NQ, I've been working on that. Go ahead.
Just 20 seconds.
Yep.
10 seconds now to PMI.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, it is.
Chicago PMI.
Just PMI.
Right?
It looks like it came out. Initially,
There it
so some
goes.
sellers. Here goes the MQ. And 224.
Where did it go?
Bottom out at 223. EMI 41.6 in the chat. Forecast 47.
It like disappeared.
7. Actually, kind of a big miss. We'll see how much it has an effect on the market, on the equities at least. Got an eye on crude here. Crude last trade 69.21. Top out at 69.63, but gold just kind of grinding lower here. All right, we got that out of the way. I think we're smooth sailing now. So, yeah, we got a 4-week auction, a couple hours, but nothing major on the calendar. Moving forward here. Hey, quick poll results. Have you traded yet today or waiting for news? 59% have already traded. Those 59% are profitable.
Yeah, that sell was the right call. Ultimately, it just didn't give me the price that I was looking for in order to sell. Could have sold it at that view. Hogue would have been a nice trade.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Wearing this costume, but I'm wearing my rally sweater also. So
A lot going on there, Jay. Oh.
Full bear mode. That's it.
I love that costume. I gotta look at this thing. What do you got going on here?
do you make the
I see
mouth
what you
move?
did there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's technology.
Yes, it is. I was looking. I'm like, how is he moving so smoothly with that thing on? I'm like, I get it. That's
Mouth
very
in his
slick.
eyes.
Yeah, very, very slick. I like that. 57.93 making new lows here in the S&Ps. Nasdaq as well. Again, we're kind of eyeing this level of 20,175. Hogue. What's the significance of 175s in the Nasdaq?